Before we make our way to the trading post, let's take a moment to remember King Varian Wren, Lion of Stormwind, who died like a goddamn man. Just his 2 badass swords and his 2 massive balls hitting that beach. Rest in peace, you stud. And what a loss. Now we're stuck with Prince Leaky, crying everywhere, feeling sorry for himself. What's he crying about? I had to spend an entire expansion helping the pussiest dragons in all of fantasy fiction, so we could find a tree to replace the one the Hordes burned down. I'm the one that should be out in Daenerys crying my eyes out. But don't get me all negative like you do. We've got some exciting news. First off, coming in here on March 12th, we have some extended maintenance, which many are predicting to be the 10.2.6 patch. Now remember I said pirates. That was my guess. But it sounds like we're about to find out. And I gotta tell you, it's about time retail gets some love. I'm tired of sitting over here in retail, watching Season of Discovery get patch after patch while they run around in Mobile WoW discovering retail abilities. But sounds like it's our turn now, and it's about damn time. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, look here, a peacock. That sure is shiny. Not really a paladin mount, but I can see some of you out there trying to impress the ladies, huh? Put that in your Tinder profile. I got the peacock mount. That's gonna get you somewhere, I promise you. It's a nice sword, but everybody uses that one, right? With the runes and shit. We've seen a lot of that. Another two-hander here. You know, it's a little thin for me and a little DK-ish, so I'm probably good. That's an awful shield. Pull out a fancy jade parasol for 15 minutes. Allows you to safely float down. Okay, so this is the umbrella from the Venthyr. Can I use this to get from Lumber Mill down to the blacksmith in Arathi Basin? That's the big question for me. I'm going to fall on that grenade for you, and we'll check it out and see. We got a purple mask with flowers, and then we've got a silver mask with lavender flowers. Oh, that is awful. Here we go, a gavel. Oh, God. An undead gavel. Jeez. Gotta wash my hands. That's disgusting. Here we go. Look at that thing. That is sweet. You know, the problem with the awesome looking polearms is that then you have to use the polearm animations. I don't know how they haven't updated polearm animations. Polearm could have some sick animations, but they don't. Have you used a spear and they chop it like an axe? It's just crazy. They just use the same two-handed animations. This is sweet looking though. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a little hoardy for me, but on a hoardy warrior or something, that thing is awesome. Here's a dress to go with your mask, and let's not lie and pretend like I don't look awesome in it. Green tabard here. All right. Some more hoods. Boy, they really like these hoods, huh? How many different colors of these hoods and capes are we going to get? Another green cape to go with your green hood. And then some really fancy gloves to go with your dress and mask. Is there a Warcraft prom that's happening that I'm not aware of? Because the Trader's Post is just full of gloves and masks and dresses, little corsages. Is there something on the calendar that I'm not seeing? Where's all the paladin shit at? Huh? I mean, I get it, okay? There's pink stuff in the game, and I gotta watch the people on the forums. Oh, I'm so excited. We finally get pink stuff and flowers and watches. Okay, but where is the damn paladin shit? Where's my hammers And my awesome T-Mogs and my belts and my glowing stuff. My Librams. Sheesh. All right, well, there's some gloves to go with your mask and dress. Another dress. All right, and what do we got here? A purple dress. All right, gee. Okay. All right, Blizz. Boy, things have changed, huh? Remember what Warcraft used to look like? And now we're here. Oh my God. Here we go. Well, at least I look outstanding. I think we all agree on that. Chipped Warblade. All right, you know what I like about it is it's not trying to overdo itself. It's just a chipped Warblade. Ooh, that's a nice looking cape. I always feel like the capes would be such a negative in combat, but you know, it does get cold in Alterac Valley, so maybe it's nice to have. I did go ahead and buy the Sky Captain formal attire just so I have something to wear to the WoW prom. And we got some stuff returning here. The Stoneform Griffin and the Stoneform Wyvern. A Demon Hunter dagger. Boy, that fire seems off. Is that just on your face? Is that just burning your face? I mean, it looks like fire. It doesn't look like arcane energy. It looks like it's burning your face. And then, of course, some more prom shit. Okay. Good job, guys. Thank you very much. Speaking of some TLC for retail, after many, many moons, we've also got some balancing incoming. And there's some fun in here for Holy Pallies. First buff for Holy Paladins right here are Light's Protection, no longer vulnerable to enemy purge effects. Light's Protection is right here. It's that reduction in damage that you give to people that have Glimmer on them. And if you run Bless Focused or Super Glimmer, here you could only put one Glimmer out, but they get the full effect of this Light's Protection. And enemy players were purging that off, and now that's no longer vulnerable to purge effects. So that's a nice change for us. Coming down, Demon Hunter's got a little slap on the wrist. The PvP community's in a tough spot because it's best for any balancing changes, I think, to be kind of moderate. I don't like heavy-handed nerfs. However, if you're only going to do balancing patches every few months, then I don't know. I don't know if doing a little bit here and there is going to have the effect you want. But for now, Demon Hunter's got a slap on the wrist. This doesn't do anything to reduce their tankiness. To me, Blur has always been the problem. That small cooldown on Blur on top of having darkness and all that other stuff, they're just impossible to kill. I don't see how this is going to change that. Their damage is going to get reduced a little bit, but the biggest problem with them is Blur. It's crazy to me that Demon Hunters got nerfed and they've just been hated on and blasted for being so overtuned. But here, Resto Druids are equally overrepresented and just dominating at every level of PvP, and they hardly got any, they didn't get any nerfs. So it looks like the Treant Master Druids, who are now the official BM Hunters of healing with their pet healing class. Make sure you feed your pets to keep them happy. We'll see, but I think Druids are still going to be really strong. Let's just get down here to the good part. Right here, Denounce, our PvP talent. Damage increased by 70% and Judgment damage increased by 50% in PvP. Outstanding. 40-yard range, 3 holy power. What have I always complained about with the current version of Holy Paladin is that our spenders are boring. You build up this holy power and then you spend it, but Word of Glory is boring. And Shield of the Righteous is kind of boring. Here comes Denounce to spice it up a little bit. So it's getting a 70% increase in damage. You throw wings on top of that and it's going to be some boom boom. 70% is crazy. Because you get your 2 holy power, right? And then you build up a stack or 2. And then you hit your wings. You're going to throw that Judgment out. That's my Lightforge racial going off. And then you're going to hit that Daybreak. And you're going to send out your Denounce. pump it, send out another denounce, pump it, and send out another denounce. And you could even do it again. And I'd have got all that in that wings window if I'd have pumped it out. And on top of that, you can sling out some hammers of wrath. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of burst. Whether you can do that much burst in a solo shuffle match depends on a lot of things, sometimes out of your control, like whether or not you can ever stop spamming heals and your DPS can use their defensives. But when you get opportunities now, you're going to be able to throw out that denounce and do a 70% more damage is a crazy buff. On top of, remember, whatever you hit with it for 8 seconds, they're prevented from being able to critical strike. And also, Judgment is getting a 50% increase in damage. So our Judgment and our Denounce, we're going to be able to pump out some hate, especially during those wings windows. Also, right here, our Greater Judgment Absorb increased by 30% in PvP. Now remember, Greater Judgment with Holy, when you throw this out, it prevents the next 34,000 damage they do. This is getting a 30% increase in PvP. And also remember, with this Inflorescence of the Sunwell talent, that Greater Judgment effect is increased by an additional 50%. So now you get these Infusion of Light procs, you target someone and you're going to throw that Judgment out. It's going to give them that Unworthy debuff or that Greater Judgment debuff. Look at that, 173,000. With this getting a 30% buff just by itself, and then you're going to get an extra 50% of that buffed up Greater Judgment with the patch coming in. That's going to be a very powerful ability. And I have to say, this is a talent interaction that I very much enjoy with the current version of Holy Pally. It's very thematic. You're in here, you finally get your Infusion of Light proc, and you see a big orky Horde warrior just pop all his avatar and shit, and he's going to start pumping one of your buddies, and you're going to throw that Greater Judge into him, and look, you're going to take the next, 100-something thousand damage he's going to try to do to someone is just completely taken away. And remember, they get this Unworthy debuff, and then if you hit them on top of that with a Denounce, now they can't crit for 8 seconds. So they've got to chop through that Absorb without being able to crit. So that's a lot of damage you can prevent, and it's just so cool and thematic to the Holy Paladin, and it feels Paladin-esque. What I like about these changes are it gives us an opportunity to have some influence over the battle, especially in solo shuffle and things like that, and also so much fun in random battlegrounds. Those Hordes get all jacked up in those BGs sometimes, and they come at you. Well, now, once these go live, pop those wings, and we will shock you. That's what's going to happen. There's some other changes in here for the lesser classes, but we've covered the important stuff. We'll have to see how the balance patch plays out, but it looks like some fun. And it also looks like we might have some pirates to prepare for. In the meantime, you all are going to have your hands full trying to forget how good I looked in those dresses. Sweet dreams. Oklahoma out.